video game to make use of power-ups, and the individual ghosts have deterministic artificial intelligence, AI, that reacts to player actions. Pac-Man is considered one of the first video games to have demonstrated the potential of characters in the medium. Its title character was the first original gaming mascot. It increased the appeal of video games with female audiences, and it was gaming's first broad licensing success. It is often cited as the first game with cushions, in the form of brief comical interludes about Pac-Man and Blinky chasing each other, though actually Space Invaders Part 2 employed a similar style of between-level intermissions in 1979. Pac-Man was a turning point for the arcade video game industry, which had previously been dominated by space shoot-'em-ups since Space Invaders, 1978. Pac-Man popularized a genre of character-led action games, leading to a wave of character action games involving player characters in 1981, such as Nintendo's prototypical platform game Donkey Kong, Konami's Frogger and Universal Entertainment's Ladybug. Pac-Man was one of the first popular non-shooting action games, defining key elements of the genre such as parallel visual processing, which requires simultaneously keeping track of multiple entities, including the player's location, the enemies, and the energizers. Maze games became popular on home computers after the release of Pac-Man. Some of them appeared before official ports and garnered more attention from consumers, and sometimes lawyers, as a result. These include Taxman, 1981, and Snack Attack, 1982, for the Apple II, Jawbreaker, 1981, for the Atari 8-bit computers, Scarfman, 1981, for the TRS-80, and KC Munchkin, 1981, for the Odyssey Squared. Namco produced several other maze games, including Rally X, 1980, Dig Dug, 1982, Xvinia, 1992, and Tinkle Pit, 1994. Atari sued Philips for creating KC Munchkin in the case Atari, Inc. v. North American Philips Consumer Electronics Corporation, leading to Munchkin being glued from store shelves under court order. No major competitors emerged to challenge Pac-Man in the maze subgenre. Pac-Man inspired 3D variants of the concept, such as Monster Maze, 1982, Spectre, 1982, and early first-person shooters such as Midi Maze, 1987, which had similar character designs. John Romero credited Pac-Man as the game that had the biggest influence on his career. Wolfenstein 3D includes a Pac-Man level from a first-person perspective. Many post-Pac-Man titles include power-ups that briefly turn the tables on the enemy. The game's artificial intelligence inspired programmers who later worked for companies like Bethesda. Reviews. Reviewing home console versions in 1982, Games magazine called the Atari 5200 implementation a splendidly reproduced version of the arcade game, noting a difference in maze layouts for the television screen. It considered the Atari 2600 version to have much weaker graphics, but to still be one of the best games for that console. In both cases, the reviewer felt that the joystick controls were harder to use than those of the arcade machine, and that attempts to make quick turns are often frustrated. Legacy. Guinness World Records has awarded the Pac-Man Series 8 records in Guinness World Records, Gamers Edition 2008, including most successful coin-operated game. On the 3rd of June, 2010, at the NLGD Festival of Games, the game's creator, Toru Iwatani, officially received the certificate from Guinness World Records for Pac-Man having had the most coin-operated arcade machines installed worldwide, 293,822. The record was set and recognized in 2005 and mentioned in the Guinness World Records. Gamers Edition 2008, awarded in 2010. In 2009, Guinness World Records listed Pac-Man as the most recognizable video game character in the United States, recognized by 94% of the population, above Mario, who was recognized by 93% of the population. In 2015, the Strong National Museum of Play inducted Pac-Man to its World Video Game Hall of Fame. The Pac-Man character and game series became an icon of video game culture during the 1980s. The game has inspired various real-life recreations, involving real people or robots. One event called Pac-Manhattan set a Guinness World Record for largest Pac-Man game in 2004. The business term Pac-Man defense in mergers and acquisitions refers to a hostile takeover target that attempts to reverse the situation and instead acquire its attempted acquirer, a reference to Pac-Man's Energizers. The Pac-Man renormalization is named for a cosmetic resemblance to the character, in the mathematical study of the Mandelbrot set. The game's popularity has led to Pac-Man being adopted as a nickname, such as by boxer Manny Pacquiao and the American football player Adam Jones. In 2012, the Pac-Man was inducted into the permanent collection of the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA, in New York City. This edition was part of an initial selection, Wave 1, of 14 video games. On the 21st of August, 2016, in the 2016 Summer Olympics closing ceremony, during a video which showcases Tokyo as the host of the 2020 Summer Olympics, a small segment shows Pac-Man and the Ghosts racing and eating dots on a running track. Merchandise. A wide variety of Pac-Man merchandise have been marketed with the character's image. By 1982, Midway had about 95 to 105 licensees selling Pac-Man merchandise, including major companies, such as AT&T selling a Pac-Man telephone. There were more than 500 Pac-Man-related products. 7-Eleven sold Pac-Man-themed merchandise at its stores since the game's initial popularity in the 1980s. This has included collectible Slurpee and Big Gulp cups. In 2023, 7-Eleven included Pac-Man in its Spring 2023 marketing material, including at Speedway and Stripes banner locations, and sold more merchandise around the game as well as rebranding some of its products after the Ghosts. This included its House Blend Coffee, Clyde's Coffee Blend, 2 Slurpee flavors, Blinkist Cherry and Inkist Blueberry Raz, and a special limited time only cappuccino flavor, Pinkist Strawberry White Chocolate Cappuccino, the latter of which came out pink to match the Ghost. Pac-Man themed merchandise sales had exceeded $1 billion in the US by 1982. Pac-Man related merchandise products included bumper stickers, jewelry, accessories, such as a $20,000 Miss Pac-Man choker with 14-karat gold, bicycles, breakfast cereals, popsicles, t-shirts, toys and pasta. LEGO released an exclusive set of a Pac-Man arcade machine for their LEGO Icons line. A LEGO version of Pac-Man, Clyde, and Blinky are featured on the top of the machine, with a minifigure playing a miniature version of the machine. Television. The Pac-Man animated television series produced by Hanna-Barbera aired on ABC from 1982 to 1983. It was the highest-rated Saturday morning cartoon show in the US during late 1982. A computer-generated animated series produced by Bandai Namco Games, 41 Entertainment, Arid Productions, OLM Digital and Sprite Animation Studios titled Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures aired on Disney XD from the 15th of June, 2013 to the 25th of May, 2015. Literature. The original Pac-Man game plays a key role in the plot of Ernest Cline's video game-themed science fiction novel Ready Player One. Music. The Buckner and Garcia song Pac-Man Fever, 1981, went to number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, and received a gold certification for more than 1 million records sold by 1982, and a total of 2.5 million copies sold as of 2008. More than 1 million copies of the group's Pac-Man Fever album, 1982, were sold. In 1982, Weird Al Yankovic recorded a parody of Taxman by the Beatles as Pac-Man. It was eventually released in 2017 as part of Squeezebox, the complete works of Weird Al Yankovic. In 1992, Aphex Twin, with the name Power Pill, released Pac-Man, a techno album which consists mostly of samples from the game. The character appears in the music video for Bloodhound Gang's Mope, released in 2000. Here, the character is portrayed as a cocaine addict. On the 20th of July, 2020, Gorillaz and Schoolboy Q released a track entitled Pac-Man as a part of Gorillaz' Song Machine series to commemorate the game's 40th anniversary, with the music video depicting the band's frontman, 2D, playing a Gorillaz-themed Pac-Man arcade game. Film. The Pac-Man character appears in the film Pixels, 2015, with Deniseki Iyama playing series creator Toru Iwatani. Iwatani makes a cameo at the beginning of the film as an arcade technician. Pac-Man is referenced and makes an appearance in the 2017 film Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and the video game, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. The game, the character, and the ghosts all appear in the film Wreck-It Ralph, as well as the sequel Ralph Breaks the Internet. In Sword Art Online the movie, Ordinal Scale, Kirito and his friends beat a virtual reality game called Pac-Man 2026, which is loosely based on Pac-Man 256. In the Japanese tokusatsu film Kamen Rider High-Zero Generations, Dr. Pac-Man vs. X8 and Ghost with Legend Riders, a Pac-Man-like character is the main villain. In the 2010 film Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the titular character makes reference to the original Japanese name. The 2018 film Relaxer uses Pac-Man as a strong plot element in the story of a 1999 couch-bound man who attempts to beat the game, and encounters the famous level 256 glitch, before the year 2000 problem occurs. Various attempts for a feature film based on Pac-Man have been planned since the peak of the original game's popularity. Following the release of Miss Pac-Man, a feature film was being developed, but never reached an agreement. In 2008, a live-action film based on the series was in development at Crystal Sky. In 2022, plans for a live-action Pac-Man film were revived at Wayfarer Studios, based on an idea by Chuck Williams. Other gaming media. In 1982, Milton Bradley Company released a board game based on Pac-Man. Players move up to 4 Pac-Man characters, traditional yellow plus red, green, and blue, plus 2 ghosts as per the throws of a pair of dice. The 2 ghost pieces were randomly packed with one of 4 colors. Sticker manufacturer Fleer included rub-off game cards with its Pac-Man stickers. The card packages contain a Pac-Man-style maze with all points along the path hidden with opaque coverings. From the starting position, the player moves around the maze while scratching off the coverings to score points. Perfect scores and other records. A perfect score on the original Pac-Man arcade game is 3,333,360 points, achieved when the player obtains the maximum score on the first 255 levels by eating every dot, energizer, fruit and blue ghost without losing a life. then uses all 6 lives to obtain the maximum possible number of points on level 256. The first person to achieve a publicly witnessed and verified perfect score without manipulating the game's hardware to freeze play was Billy Mitchell, who performed the feat on the 3rd of July, 1999. Some record-keeping organizations removed Mitchell's score after a 2018 investigation by Twin Galaxies concluded that 2 unrelated Donkey Kong score performances submitted by Mitchell had not used an unmodified original circuit board. As of July 2020, 7 other gamers had achieved perfect Pac-Man scores on original arcade hardware. The world record for the fastest completion of a perfect score, according to Twin Galaxies, is held by David Race with a time of 3 hours, 28 minutes, 49 seconds. In December 1982, 8-year-old boy Jeffrey Arue received a letter from United States President Ronald Reagan congratulating him on a world record score of 6,131,940 points, possible only if he had passed level 256. In September 1983, Walter Day, chief scorekeeper at Twin Galaxies at the time, took the U.S. National Video Game Team on a tour of the East Coast to visit gamers who claimed the ability to pass that level. None demonstrated such an ability. In 1999, Billy Mitchell offered $100,000 to anyone who could pass level 256 before the 1st of January 2000. The offer expired with the prize unclaimed. After announcing in 2018 that it would no longer recognize the first perfect score on Pac-Man, Guinness World Records reversed that decision and reinstated Billy Mitchell's 1999 performance on the 18th of June, 2020. Remakes and sequels. Further information, list of Pac-Man video games. See also, list of Pac-Man clones. Pac-Man was followed by a series of sequels, remakes, and reimaginings, and is one of the longest-running video game franchises in history. The first of these was Miss Pac-Man, developed by the American-based General Computer Corporation and published by Midway in 1982. The character's gender was changed to female in response to Pac-Man's popularity with women, with new mazes, moving bonus items, and faster gameplay being implemented to increase its appeal. Miss Pac-Man is one of the best-selling arcade games in North America, where Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man had become the most successful machines in the history of the amusement arcade industry. Legal concerns raised over who owned the game caused Miss Pac-Man to become owned by Namco, who assisted in production of the game. Miss Pac-Man inspired its own line of remakes, including Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness, 2000, and Miss Pac-Man, Quest for the Golden Maze, and is included in many Namco and Pac-Man collections for consoles. Namco's own follow-up to the original was Super Pac-Man, released in 1982. This was followed by the Japan-exclusive Pac and Pal in 1983. Midway produced many other Pac-Man sequels during the early 1980s, including Pac-Man Plus, 1982, Junior Pac-Man, 1983, Baby Pac-Man, 1983, and Professor Pac-Man, 1984. Other games include the isometric Pac-Mania, 1987, the side-scrollers Pac-Land, 1984, Hollow Pac-Man, 1994, and Pac-in-Time, 1995, the 3D platformer Pac-Man World, 1999, and the puzzle games Pac-Attack, 1991, and Pac-Pix, 2005. Iftani designed Pac-Land and Pac-Mania, both of which remain his favorite games in the series. Pac-Man Championship Edition, published for the Xbox 360 in 2007, was Iftani's final game before leaving the company. Its neon visuals and fast-paced gameplay was met with acclaim, leading to the creation of Pac-Man Championship Edition DX 2010 and Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 2016. Coleco's tabletop mini-arcade versions of the game yielded 1.5 million units sold in 1982. Nelsonic Industries produced a Pac-Man LCD wristwatch game with a simplified maze also in 1982. Namco Networks sold a downloadable Windows PC version of Pac-Man in 2009, which also includes an enhanced mode which replaces all of the original sprites with the sprites from Pac-Man Championship Edition. Namco Networks made a downloadable bundle which includes its PC version of Pac-Man and its port of Dig Dug called Namco All-Stars, Pac-Man and Dig Dug. In 2010, Namco Bandai announced the release of the game on Windows Phone 7 as an Xbox Live game. For the weekend of May 21-23, 2010, Google changed the logo on its homepage to a playable version of the game in recognition of the 30th anniversary of the game's release. The Google Doodle version of Pac-Man was estimated to have been played by more than 1 billion people worldwide in 2010, so Google later gave the game its own page. In April 2011, Soap Creative published World's Biggest Pac-Man, working together with Microsoft and Namco Bandai to celebrate Pac-Man's 30th anniversary. It is a multiplayer browser-based game with user-created, interlocking mazes. For April Fool's Day in 2017, Google created a playable of the game on Google Maps where users were able to play the game using the map on screen. A Pac-Man-themed downloadable content package for Minecraft was released in 2020 in commemoration of the game's 40th anniversary. This pack introduced a ghost called Creepy, based on the Creeper. Technology. The original arcade system board had one Z80 processor, running at 3.072 MHz, 16 KB of ROM and 3 KB of static RAM. Of those, 1 KB each was for video RAM, color RAM and generic program RAM. There were two custom chips on the board, the 285 sync bus controller and the 284 video RAM addresser, but daughterboards made only from standard parts were also widely used instead. Video output was analog, component video with composite sync. A further 8 KB of character ROM was used for characters, background tiles and sprites, and an additional 1 KB of static RAM was used to hold 4 BPP sprite data for one scan line and was written to during the horizontal blanking period preceding each line. Sprite size was always 16x16 pixels. One of the 4 colors per pixel was for transparency of the background. The monitor was installed 90-degree rotated clockwise. The first visible scan line started in the top right corner and ends in the bottom right corner. The horizontal blanking period, which starts after the level indicator at the bottom is drawn, had a duration of 96 pixel clock ticks, enough time to fetch 4 bytes of sprite data per 16 clock ticks for 6 sprites. Although attribute memory exists for them, sprites 0 and 7 are unusable. Their pixel fetch timing windows are occupied by the bottom level indicator, which just precedes the blank, for sprite 0 and 2 rows of characters at the top of the screen, which just follow the blank, for sprite 7. Notes.